All right, so you guys already know the rules. You guys come every week. You're pretty much good to go. Okay, so you guys can choose to put your video on if you would like. We do ask that you keep yourself muted during this time. And once again, you are being recorded, so if you're fine with showing your face, it's totally fine, okay? All right, so today we're going to learn about lunar landers. And let me just go over the virtual guidelines with you guys. Oh, sorry, let me share my screen. All right, so please refrain from commenting without first raising your hand and being acknowledged by the instructor. You guys already know you do really well with that. And make sure we want to make sure that we can hear and answer everyone's questions. If you do not feel comfortable raising your hand, you can put your question in the chat down below. I will try my best to make sure to look at the chat every so often so I can see if anyone's asking any questions or if they need to make a comment. Try your best and participate in the Zoom poll at the beginning and the end of the experiment. So we like to ask pre and post questions to the students so that we know what you knew coming into our lesson and what you have learned after the lesson. And then make sure to have fun. We are in quarantine, right? We're on lockdown, so I want to make sure that you guys have as much fun as possible. If you do have any concerns, however, please contact me via the messenger box, and either I or Miss Carrie Ann or Dr. Candace will try to answer your questions. Okay, so before I go into the poll questions, I just want to make sure that everyone has their supplies, okay? So does everyone have 2 large marshmallows? Put a thumbs up, very good. Put a thumbs up in the chat if you have them. You should have 2 large marshmallows, perfect. Then you should have 10 little marshmallows like this. Oh, hold on. Easton, what's up? Let me unmute you.
We don't have the 2 large marshmallows.
Okay, that's fine. Do you have like a small toy or a ball or something?
I have ping pong balls.
Okay, yeah, I would use one of those because the large marshmallows are just your astronauts. So you're not gonna use them to build anything. Okay?
Do these marshmallows work?
Let me see. Oh yeah, those are fine. Yeah, just use 2 of those. Okay, so you guys have your 10 small marshmallows. And then you should have 8 bendy straws. Does everyone have 8 straws? All right, good. And then you'll need 3 rubber bands. Oop. Make sure you have 3 rubber bands. Then you'll also need 3 index cards. Okay. A piece of cardboard about this size or maybe a little bit bigger because you might want to cut it up. Okay, very good. Very good, Zoe. And then you guys will also need a paper cup, a small paper cup. Okay. And then you will need a pair of scissors and either tape or glue. Either one will be fine. Or if you want to use both, I used both in my video, so you can use both as well. Okay, so does everyone have their supplies or just about? Thumbs up if you do. Let me know if you need time. Okay. Okay, so I'm not seeing any no's, so we should be good. Good job. All right, so now we're gonna go into the polling. So it's about 1:10 right now. I'll give you guys until about 1:15 to do the pre-questions. Once again, you just have to answer them to the best of your ability. And hopefully after the lecture and the lesson, you're able to increase your score. Okay? All right, launching the poll right now. Okay, so I'm gonna end the poll. All right, so let's look at some of these answers. Okay, very good. Okay, very good. Well, you guys all got question number 4 correct, so very good. All right, so we'll see what you guys learn at the end of this lecture and lesson. Okay, so I'm going to go into our lecture. And I can't see you guys, like your video, because I'm sharing my screen. So if you do have any questions during this, just make sure to put it in the chat. Okay, so what is a lunar lander? A lunar lander or moon lander is a spacecraft designed to land on the moon. So if you got that question correct in our pre-poll, give yourselves a round of applause. The Apollo lunar lander, designed to land a crew of 2 humans and return them to orbit, made 6 successful landings and takeoffs from 1969 to 1972, which is a very big deal. So some background on lunar landers. The Lunar program was a series of robotic impactors, flybys, orbiters, and landers flown by the Soviet Union, which is present-day Russia, between 1958 and 1976. So they were the first ones to really start that program. Luna 9 was the first spacecraft to achieve a soft landing on the moon on February 3rd, 1966. After 11 unsuccessful attempts, Luna achieved a total of 7 successful soft landings out of a total of 27 attempts, which is approximately 25%. The United States Surveyor Program first soft landed Surveyor 1 on June 2nd, 1966, and then successfully soft landed 4 more in a total of 7 attempts through January 10th, 1968. The Apollo lunar module was used from the 1969 to 1972 human spaceflight program of the United States. And then the LK lander was designed for the human space flight program of the Soviet Union. Whew, so that's a lot of information, but what you can generally obtain from that slide is that the Lunar program was the first lunar lander program started by the Soviet Union, and it made a total of 7 successful soft landings. And then the United States then began their Surveyor program, and Surveyor 1 landed on June 2nd, 1966. And then the famous lunar lander that I'm sure you guys know of is Apollo lunar module, which was used from 1969 to 1972. All right, so your challenge today, with all that you learned about lunar landers in that quick bit, is just as engineers had to develop solutions for landing different vehicle types on the moon, you will need to follow a design process to design and build a shock absorbing system, which is very important, out of paper, straws, and mini marshmallows. You're going to attach your shock absorber to a cardboard platform and then improve your design based on testing results. This is all called the engineering design process. So what engineers do when they're designing spacecrafts, bridges, robots, they have to first design. And if you guys are familiar with the C-Perch program, that's what we use, the engineering process. So we have to first design what we want our engineered product to be. Then we have to build it. Then we have to test it. Then we have to evaluate it and see where we could improve, what things need to be fixed, how can we make certain things be better, go faster, all those things. So you guys are going to be using the engineering design process to complete your challenge today. So like I said, you're going to build, test, evaluate, and redesign. So you're going to follow this format. So when you're designing a shock absorbing system, you need to think of springs and cushions, right? So you want your lunar lander to land on the moon as softly as possible. Because think about it, you have precious cargo on there, your astronauts, your marshmallows, right? And you also have this very large, heavy piece of equipment. So if you have this large, heavy piece of equipment that's landing on a very hard surface with precious cargo, you need to make that landing as soft and cushiony as possible. So think about what materials you have in your possession right now, marshmallows, flexi straws, all those things that can help to make your lunar lander land softly. Then you're going to put your spacecraft together. So you're going to attach the shock absorbers to the cardboard platform. You're going to add a cabinet for the astronauts. So you're going to tape the cups to the platform, put 2 astronauts, your 2 large marshmallows, in it. And you have to make sure that the cup stays open. So you cannot have a lid on your cup for your cabin, because that would defeat the purpose. We're trying to see if the astronauts fall out when your lunar lander is tested. Then you're going to test, evaluate, and redesign. So you're going to drop your lander from a height of 1 foot. But actually in the video, I had you guys drop it from 3 different levels, which you will see later on. And if the astronauts bounce out, you're going to figure out ways to improve your design. Okay? All right. I'm going to stop my screen there. All right, so I'm now going to share the video on how to do the lunar lander experiment. And you guys can either watch the whole video, or you can start thinking of how you want your lunar lander to look. So I want to show you mine. So this is what my lunar lander kind of looks like. So sorry. I have very hard marshmallows and they will not stay. So I have marshmallows as pegs on my bendy straws, which are my feet. And then I have 2 pieces of cardboard as the body for my platform, and then my index cards are my springs. The cup obviously is the cabin for my marshmallows, and then my 2 astronauts go in there, okay? So you can choose to build your lunar lander just like mine, or if you have other ideas, that's completely okay as well. And you guys can start building while the video is going on, or you can wait until I'm finished, okay? Does anyone have any questions before we start? No? What's up, Preston? Oh,
Can you use more of the items that you have? Like more than 10 marshmallows?
No, so this is a kind of national type of experiment. So they try to limit the amount of items that everyone can use. So everyone is restricted to 10 marshmallows, 10 little marshmallows, 1 piece of cardboard, 8 straws, 3 rubber bands, and 3 index cards. So you can't add anything else, okay? Good question though. So does anyone else have any questions? No? Okay. All right, so I'm going to share my screen again, and we're gonna make some lunar landers. Okay, and once again, I can't see you guys in the chat, so if you have, so I will, if I don't answer right away, it's because I can't really see the chat. So if you do have any questions though, you can either write in the chat or say, excuse me, Miss Cynthia, and then I'll stop the video and I'll answer your question, okay? All right, so I'm gonna start the video. Hi everyone, and welcome to another weekly virtual lesson with the Citizen Science Lab. Oh, wait. Sorry, guys. Is that the video that oh. Zoe, you can use either glue or tape. I used both in my video. Hold on, guys. Let me make sure I have the right video. Okay, so we're gonna try that again. When I was editing, I cut out the wrong part, but that's okay. So we're gonna try that again, and I'm gonna play the video. Today, we are using the engineering design process to make a lunar lander. A lunar lander, or moon lander, is a spacecraft designed to land on the moon. When NASA finds safe landing sites on the moon, they design and build a spacecraft that is able to land safely on the moon without injuring their astronauts or damaging their spacecraft. Today, you are going to use a number of different materials laid out here to make your own lunar lander. You need to make sure that your lunar lander is able to land safely so that your astronauts do not get hurt and you do not damage your lander. As you can imagine, a lander is a very big and heavy piece of equipment. So when it lands, we need to make sure that it lands softly enough so that not much damage is done. When completing your lunar lander task, you need to pay attention to shock absorbency. It is important that your lunar lander is able to absorb the shock to minimize the impact that it has on your astronauts as well as your lander. In order to complete the lunar lander task, you will need 2 large marshmallows. You will also need 10 little marshmallows. You will need a small cup. You will need a piece of cardboard. You will need 8 straws, 3 rubber bands, 3 index cards, tape or glue, and a pair of scissors. So I like to first design my lunar lander before I actually get into the building part. One question that you need to ask yourself when designing your lunar lander is, what materials can you use to make a shock absorber to help soften the landing? So looking at our materials here, if you use mini marshmallows, they can be used as foot pads. If you use note cards, they can actually be folded into springs that can help absorb the shock. If you want to use straws, they can provide a flexible structure. And if you want to use rubber bands, you can use them to flex and hold things together. So I like the idea of using straws to provide a flexible structure, because I want my lunar lander to have legs to land on that will absorb the shock. Kind of like when you jump off of a very high step, you bend your knee so that you're able to safely land without really breaking anything, right? So I want my lunar lander to act like that. Like if it were to jump, it could safely land. I want my lunar lander to be springy. So I'll give my lunar lander 4 legs. So I'll be using 4 of these straws. Yeah, use 4 of those straws. So I cut my cardboard in half so that I can get this size piece to use kind of like the base or the platform of my lunar lander. Then I'm going to cut my straws, but I'm going to cut them a little bit past the spring here so that I can still maintain my spring, because that's what's going to give my lunar lander like that flexible component. So I don't know if you guys could see it clearly, but what I meant by that is here is the flexible part of the straw, and I cut it a little bit below that flexible part. So I kept the side that was shorter with the on the opposite end of the flexible part, and then I just cut a small piece so that it can go in and out and it can be flexible, okay? Those. So let's try to keep them the same, right? It's important that our measurements are always the same, because once again, any slight variation in your measurements or your cutting, or sometimes even your tools, can cause some issues in your engineering design process. And then you'll have to go back and troubleshoot some more. So I like to make sure that everything is the same. Right. So I must say that our 2 marshmallows are actually our astronauts. So we won't be using those in our actual design of the lunar lander, but we'll put those to the side so that we can use them later. I want this lunar lander to really land softly. I'm talking about pillow soft. So I'm going to not only use the straws for flexibility in its legs, but I'm also going to use my index cards to create a spring. So what I'm doing is I'm just going back and forth with creating a small spring. Let me show you guys. I started at the top and I folded inwards. Then I flipped it and folded it backwards, then flipped it again and folded it backwards, and just kept doing that. So you flip it over, fold it towards yourself, then you flip it over, fold it away from yourself. And you flip it over, fold it towards yourself, flip it over, fold it away from yourself, and flip it over and fold it towards yourself so that you get kind of like an accordion. I'm going to show you guys how I did it from the beginning. So what I did is I first flipped it towards myself, and you only want to flip it a small length, because you don't want it, I guess that would be width, because you don't want it to be big folds, you don't want it to be big springs in between. So I folded it just a little bit, kind of like that. So that one I folded away from myself. So I'm going to fold towards myself again, then fold away from myself. And you want to make sure that every fold is about equal as the last fold. You want to follow the last fold in terms of the size. So you want to have it as equal as possible. Fold it away, then fold it towards yourself. Fold it away, fold it towards yourself, and fold it away. All right, so now I have 2 springs, and now I actually need to make sure that my cardboard pieces then, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my cardboard pieces, or sorry, my index cards that are now my springs in between the cardboard pieces. We need to make sure that the cardboard pieces are equal as well. So I need to grab a pencil. So I grabbed a pencil so that I can know the mark to cut. You don't want to be off with this. You wouldn't want engineers to not be taking their measurements seriously, or else a lot of the things that we use would be broken down and unsafe, right? Okay, cool. Actually pretty equal. All right. Perfect. And then, actually, maybe I should use glue. I'll be right back with the glue. You can use tape to tape the index cards down. It's really no big deal. I just wanted to use glue. I can show you guys really how you can just use glue. Got my glue. And in order to glue your index cards on your cardboard, you just want to glue one of these little springs. And then you just place it down so that it's aligned with your cardboard, and then fold it back on your index card so that you can kind of push down on the cardboard and secure that adhesion. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to put my glue on my index card. Challenge this glue. Whoop. All right. Once again, you're only taking one spring of your index card, and you want to align it with your cardboard. And then you just want to press it down so that it's secured to your cardboard. And then this part, you're going to make sure that your springs are in. And you want to do the same thing. You want to glue just one spring. Glue just one spring. Then I'm going to place that cardboard on that single spring. And for this one too, you can try to push it down so that everything's in place. Okay, perfect. And then last spring connection over here. The glue there. And by now you can just push down on the spring. Let it dry. So that is my springy part of my lunar lander, the body of my lunar lander. Okay, so I have these 4 straws. So I'm going to put my cardboard to the side so that I can work with my straws. So I have these 4 straws, and I'm going to use 4 marshmallows to kind of secure, not secure, but act like pegs for the legs of my straws. Oh. Maybe I could poke a hole. That way the kind of just, no, it doesn't work. All right, so I lost one of my marshmallows. That's okay. We have 10. So let me just see if I can. I'm gonna get my straw in there. Okay, sounds good. It won't stand, but it's good. So I just have my marshmallow, well, my straw in my marshmallow. And I have it on the side that doesn't have the spring closest to it. Tape my straws down. So I'm going to just let my straw sit like that. Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Sorry. All right, so I'm gonna share the video again. Oops, sorry. Let me make sure. Are you guys doing okay? You guys are hearing the video all right? Okay, good. So once I put that donut there, I want to double secure it and then place an extra piece of tape over that so that it stays. So what I did was, let me redo that closer to the camera. So I took a small piece of tape and I made a donut with it. I placed the tape in on the corner of the cardboard. The part that's closest to the springs, I closed the springs up, and then I kind of folded that extra piece of part that's right before the spring. And then that folded part, that part right before the spring, I just place it right down there, help it to stay onto the donut tape. Then I take another piece of tape, and in order to hold that piece down, I place it on top so that it doesn't come up. Because you guys know when you use that donut tape trick, sometimes if you don't have another piece that's next to it, then it can fly off because the part isn't secured by 2 sides of tape. So And I'm going to do that for my other two legs. So what I'm going to do now is extend my springs. You want that flexibility. All right. So now I'm going to take my tape. Use the tape to tape my cup. It's way too big of a piece. Use the tape to tape my cup to my cardboard. Ooh, I can actually, I think I'll use tape to secure it to the other side of the cardboard as well. Okay. So this is, oh no, let me fix my springs. All right, kiddos. So that is my lunar lander. I got legs, sorry, straws as legs with pegs. I have 2 springs on the side, and my astronauts are going to sit carefully and safely, I hope, in this cup. Okay. All right. So before we move on to test our lunar landers, can I see some of your lunar landers? Oh, Easton, you got a question? What's up?
This is my lunar lander. I use mini marshmallows to cushion the legs.
Okay, cool.
Or straws, and I made a little solar panel so I go up here.
Okay, awesome. Very cool. Zoe, what's your lunar lander looking like?
So this is mine.
Cool.
To pat it, and then I wanted to add the marshmallows at the bottom, but when I did, something made it fall over every time. So then I added like wings at the end, and it fixed it from falling over.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Preston, are you done with your lunar lander?
I'm just securing the part where they sit, but it's almost done.
Okay, awesome. Very good. Very good. All right, so I'll give you guys, Preston, do you need like, how many more minutes do you need?
Probably like 2.
2 more minutes? Okay, so I'll get you guys ready. Yeah, Pumpkin, what's up?
Are we allowed to use 2 cups or 1 cup?
You should only be using 1 cup.
Okay.
Yeah, just 1.
And here is my lunar lander.
Okay, sweet. Okay, very good.
I also wanted to ask another question.
Yeah.
So my lunar lander, I used the rubber bands to hold down the cup. And he can still fall over though. So if you're cheating, he can still fall out, as you can see.
Okay, that's perfect then. As long as you aren't holding the astronauts in, then you're perfectly fine. Very good. All right, so I'll give you guys 2 more minutes, and then we're going to test our lunar landers with Miss Cynthia. Easton, what's up?
Too obsessed.
Do you have a question, Easton? Okay. All right, so you guys are little, but I guess we'll try to make it as fair as possible. So when I was, we're not doing it yet, but I just want to show you guys. When I was doing the testing, I tested it at my hip, then at my shoulder, then at my head. So I'm 5'5". Is there anyone who is 5'5" or taller? No. Can we get some of the, what are your heights? So that we can make it fair. You're 5'2", Zoe? Okay. Preston, how tall are you?
Like 5'2" or 3".
5'2" or 3", okay. Easton, how tall are you?
I think 3'5". I'm not sure.
3'5". I love it. Okay, so
I'm
Easton,
not sure.
how tall is your mom?
5 feet.
5 feet? Okay, how about we use your mom as the 3 levels?
Okay.
You guys are taller than Dr. Candace. This is funny. Okay, all right, so everyone have their lunar landers. So everyone stand up with your lunar landers. Woo. And then I'm gonna share my screen and hope if I can.
I don't want that. Oh my god, lose my mind.
What?
No, I can't find it right now.
What am I still at?
It's gotta be for them.
How can I thought last year.
Lose my mind. Okay, Tommy, go sit in the sun. Wait.
I was
All right, so I'm going to play the video, and then, so I think the best way to do this so that I can see everyone's testing is I'm going to let me test it, and then I'm gonna go back and ask you guys to do it at the same time so that it's all fair, okay? All right, so we're gonna let Miss Cynthia play. Now we're going to test the safety and efficiency of our lunar lander. So I have my 2 marshmallows, my astronauts, that I'm putting into my cup that I have to make sure safely land on the moon. We are going to test our lunar lander at 3 different levels, okay? So our first level is going to be our hip. Our second level is going to be our shoulder, and our third level is going to be our head. So what you need to do is hold your lunar lander in a way that allows it to drop flat, and drop it from each of these 3 levels. Now, we can make this a competition. If you have someone at home who has also created a lunar lander, you can compete with them, or we can compete with each other right now during our lesson. Each person will drop their lunar lander at the same time at the same level. The person or persons who successfully land their lunar lander without their astronauts falling out move on to the next level. We continue this until we get our winner or winners. So Miss Cynthia's going to test her lunar lander at the first level. So this is my first level, my hip, okay? So I'm going to hold my lunar lander carefully, and I hope it drops safely on 3. 1, 2, 3. No! Wow. Okay, so okay, so as you can see, Miss Cynthia failed miserably, but that's okay because I'm still here. All right, so everyone have their lunar lander at their hip. So stand up and have your lunar lander at your hip. And I'm gonna ask on the count of 3 that you guys drop your lunar lander. Now, put yourself in the video because I can see y'all if you're cheating, okay? I wanna see if the marshmallow falls, okay? All right, so on the count of 3, 1 at your hip. 1, 2, 3. Drop. Okay, where's everyone's marshmallows? Are they still in the cup? Raise your hand if it's still in the cup. So Zoe's is still in the cup. Easton's is still in the cup. No, Preston! No, it's okay. It's okay. Mine also fell out, so it's okay. We still pushing. Okay. So now everyone, gather your lunar lander again, and we're gonna go to the shoulder level. Okay. Preston, you can still do this with us, buddy. So we'll wait for everyone standing. Okay. Make sure everyone's good. All right, perfect. So now we're gonna drop it shoulder level on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, drop. Okay, if you got your marshmallows, thumbs up. Let me see who still got their marshmallows. Okay. Oh yeah, we got some good lunar landers. Let me tell you something. You guys are already better than Miss Cynthia because this thing, yeah, I don't know what this was, okay, but it's okay. All right, so now we're going to do the head level. Preston, you can still do the, did your astronaut survive the second one? No, it's okay. You can still do the third one, okay? So everyone put it to their head on the count of 3. 1, put out your head. 1, 2, 3, go. All right. Okay, yeah, we still got some. Fantastic. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So who still has their marshmallows? Zoe and crew, and then Easton, very good. All right, so I'm gonna finish off my video and you guys will see how I continue to fail miserably, but it's okay. All right. My lunar lander not only was not safe enough for my 2 astronauts, but it did not land as properly as I thought it would, and I lost one of my pets. But for lessons' sake, I'm going to continue on to the shoulder level. I'm right-handed, so I will do it from my right hand just so that I can see. And I'll drop it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that time, one of my astronauts made it, okay, but my second one fell out. So that's weird that I went to a different level, or I guess I should say that's interesting, that I went to a different level, but the safety kind of increased. So, all right. So anyone who has reached this third level, you can go ahead and try with me. So now I'm going to drop it from my head. So my head's right here. I'm going to drop it right here. Okay? 1, 2, 3. No! Both of them fell out. And I lost 3 pegs this time. Oh gosh. So, if you have gotten to the last level while making sure that your astronauts are safe and your lander is safe, give yourself a round. And if you haven't, that's okay. What we can do together, as Cynthia didn't reach the third level either, is look at our lunar lander and see where we could have improved. Off top, I would have improved my legs because they are a little makeshift. They're not very secure and straight. Even my pegs, I would try to find a better way to keep my pegs on. And I don't really think I've given my astronauts much cushion in their little astronaut cup, right? So I would try to find a way to make sure that even they, when they're dropping down, they're absorbing the shock in the cup so that they don't move at all either. So next time I try this, I'm going to put those ideas into play and see how my lunar lander does. Thank you guys again for joining another virtual lesson at the Citizen Science Lab. We love you guys being a part of our lessons, and we'll see you next time. Bye. All right. Okay, so, yeah, Easton, you got a question? What's your question? Oh, darn.
Lesson learned.
What's your lesson learned?
Mine stayed in all 3 times, and yours went completely.
Oh, yeah, mine was like so terrible.
Lesson learned.
Right. All right, does anyone have any, I guess, like, what do you think made your your lander be able to land safely? Yes. Oops, sorry.
The flex straws.
The flex straws? Okay, very good. What about you guys?
So, I went with this kind of look, and oh no, it really broke in the landing. But what I wanted to do is I made it really light so it could just slide down. But when I added these marshmallows, I think I gave it too much weight and it couldn't glide anymore. And instead of getting a nice like bum bum bum, it went like bam, which bounced them out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. To have it glide, that's a really good aspect to have. Very good.
I think mine was so I cut the springy part of the straws. So when you like press on it, it bounces back up. So when it would fall down to the ground, it would like just bounce back up.
Yeah, that's really innovative. I like that. I really like that. Preston, what do you think worked and what do you think didn't work with yours?
Well, nothing really worked. I thought that like I couldn't do it because it would take forever to dry, but I tried to like cut the straw so that the part that like that you open to make it longer, I tried to use those as springs on the bottom, but that didn't work because they wouldn't dry fast enough and they were too long.
Okay. Well, if it's a question of time, then what I would do with you is I would just continue to do it and then keep testing it. Because if you have a really good idea, I say put that idea into work and then try it again. Okay? All right. Do you guys have any more questions? All right. So we're going to do our poll. You guys did so well. I'm so proud of you guys. Oh, I didn't. Give yourselves a round of applause because, I love it. Very good. I'm going to start the poll for you guys. All right. Go ahead and answer those questions. All right, we're waiting on one more. You guys can take your time, okay? Okay. All right. So you guys got the question number 1 completely correct. Very good. So a lunar lander is a spacecraft designed to land on the moon. The second question, however, what is the Luna program? That answer is actually a series of robotic spacecraft missions sent to the moon by the Soviet Union between 1959 and 1976. So when you think of the Luna program, think of the Soviet Union program, okay? What is shock absorption? That is the process by which a device absorbs and dampens the impact forces. So remember, if you have something that's really heavy and you're trying to protect that precious cargo, you want it to, when it hits the landing site, you want it to absorb that impact and soften the fall, okay? And then which lunar lander was used by the US for the 1969 to 1972 human spaceflight program? That is Apollo, okay? That is Apollo. And you guys got this question completely right. Which process is best used for designing a lunar lander? And that is the engineering design process, right? We wouldn't use the scientific method in this. And the Common Core process, not entirely sure what it is, but you wouldn't use it, okay? All right, so do you guys have any questions? You guys have any more questions? Okay, did you guys have fun today? Yes? Easton, did you like all those marshmallows you were eating? It's okay. Now you guys can eat all the marshmallows in the world. Well, at least all the marshmallows that your parents allow you to. And thank you guys for joining us for another series at the Citizen Science Lab. I hope you guys have a great and safe week. And we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.